Today I think we are going to look briefly about how to be a top performer. We're going to look at how being a top performer, what does it take, what are the steps, and then see how we become top performers. To begin with, top performance is what everyone should strive for. Let it be me, let it be you, let it be anyone in this company should be striving for being a top performer. Now, what is being top? Performing at your top or to your top abilities. When you're a 10,000 person, your top performance may be 100. Now, when you reach 100, you may want to strive more. From 100, maybe it's 200. From 200 up to 1 million. Now, when you start being a 1 million performer, as in terms of commission, maybe per week, you can still make 10 million. So, these are the things I think we can do as people, the salespeople in this company, to become top performers. Your desire, my desire, should be being a top performer. At least we must be in the first 4 top performers. When we are talking about a person who is making sales, you should be among the first 4. And this is not something you make by prayers alone or by wishful thinking alone. It involves a lot of activities. Now, there is an old saying that when you do what you were doing, you continue getting the same result. Now that you want different results, you must do things, either think different things or you do things differently. So, I cannot be a top performer when doing the same thing I used to do. I must change. If I want different results, I should change my methodology or I change what I'm doing. I think that one is clear. Being a top performer, there are very many advantages. Chances, there is respect. When you're a top performer, you become respected. Your self-confidence increases. You start getting reasons why you should also talk in public. Unlike when you are a poor performer. So, in short, in this session, we are going to look at steps or what we should do or what we should understand to become top performers. 1, we should understand the 4 levels of action. Why action? Because action is a miracle working process. You can never change unless you start acting. I can never change unless I start acting. So actions are the one that propel us from one level to the other. We have no choice. You can't be passive and expect different results. In fact, if you don't keep where you are, you're going to deteriorate. I think that is clear, not so? So, passiveness. Being passive is like you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And when you're doing what you're supposed to do, it means you are not improving yourself. So, we need to discuss largely what are these 4 levels of action. 1, doing nothing. You can choose to do nothing. And most of us, we are doing nothing. There is a situation, you're not doing anything. However, I want also to make it clear that it's not easy to do nothing. It's not possible to do nothing. And to do nothing means you have to make a decision to do something and finally decide not to do it. That is doing nothing. Because you cannot wake up with a plan of doing nothing. You decide to make phone calls, around 100 phone calls a week. As you start, you make a few calls, then you stop. And people who actually do nothing are the people who actually have a lot of excuses. They have a lot of explanation why they are not doing what they are doing. So, doing nothing is not possible. Only that your intent or your plan to do something, you finally refuse. You plan to make 100 calls, you make 10 calls, you give up. You stop. You plan to go and meet a client, amid the way anxiety, fear, and all that stops you from reaching the client. So that's what it means to do nothing. Now, second level of action is retreat. If we don't understand these levels of action, we may not know why we are not performing to our best. The other second part is retreating. Most people do this. Any retreat is a discipline to retreat when it matters. When you retreat from doing something, it means that thing you are going to make really mattered. It was a point of matter. It was serious. But you reach in the middle for all good reasons or bad ones, you don't. You retreat. So top performers have this saying, no retreat, no surrender. If you want to be, I have to make it. But what happens to most salespeople? Most people, they reach in the middle, they give up. Instead of giving in more efforts, giving in more thoughts, giving in more consultation, giving in more to learning, they retreat, they give up. And by the way, this is true that for every opportunity there must be difficulties. Oma, do we have one side of a coin? Yes, at least there's always two sides of a coin. So one side is the side of the opportunity and another side is the side of difficulties. So of course that's how the world has been. For every opportunity there will be a difficulty. If you want to pursue an opportunity, you have to endure the difficulty. So in short, for every opportunity they must endure or pass through or overcome difficulties. But now what happened to some of my friends is when the difficulty surfaces, you retreat. Like you're going to meet a client, it starts raining, of course you don't have a car, you don't. And you're like, I'll not go there. Instead of borrowing an umbrella from a friend and still be there, you retreat. Instead of looking for a friend or a special hire, you meet the client. But for you, you retreat and start saying that these things are not possible. I don't think that is true. So that is the second level of action. Most people act actually reach a level and they retreat for all the good reasons they consider. Have you experienced that also? Is there any situations where you found yourself retreating? So if you want to be a top performer, you got to overcome this. Yeah, I want to accept that there are difficulties. There are situations also myself, I reach in the middle, it's like, no, I should give up on this. But when I remember that this level of action is the one that is always limiting us, I stop. I endure. I move on. There is one of my clients from another company that was telling me, I think I shared this story to you, if not to other team members. This lady starts doing stuff and finally, I found her when she had given up and we tried to talk on how we can improve her company. Then she starts talking to clients. She talked to the first client, abused her. She reached the second client, he closed the door on her. The third client had something, but he's like, man, those things, no. The fourth client again abused her. She was like, I should give up. Our girl was talking to the 5 clients that afternoon. Then she goes. Because I was telling her a formula of one more, like when you're about to give up, you say one more person. Now she said one more person. Now this person goes and reaches her. This lady, the 5th one, buys products where she made a commission of 200. Now imagine, had she retreated on the 3rd client, would she have made that much? Now the other 3rd level is you could do average. That is another 3rd level of action, doing average. Most people are performing averagely. A person who performs average in our company is the one who makes at least 500. So in short, an average performer is someone who brings the 500,000 per week to the company, which means we have few top performers in this company, because we said averagely every person should make 500 to the company per week. So if you're making 500, you're an average performer. So there are these people who actually do average 50%. So any performance beyond 500 to me is going beyond average. You're above average. Does it make you a top performer or a peak performer? No. You may be 550. You may make 600. Yes, you're certainly above average. But when you're going to 1 million, then you are serious. Now, when you make 1 million per week to the company, in a month you make 4 million for the company. In 3 months, you make how much? 12 million. And of course, at the end of 3 months, you may find yourself out of 12. You have made yourself 4 to 5 million in terms of commission. So in short, doing average is for losers. We should strive to be beyond average, because average people are not recognized. That's why you find in the meeting, in the minutes, when in a meeting we say, Jose was also there. We had Honorable Marina, we had Honorable, Jose was also there. Yes, you were there. Nothing exciting about you. Instead of being an average performer, you'd be a poor performer, still you'd be known. In our company in this year, the poor performer was, you are talked. And then the top performer was so and so. The average ones, you keep them. Or in the classes, did they read the 5th person, the 50th? I think they will read from the 1st to the 3rd. They stop from there. And then they read the last third. The first third, they celebrate. The last third, they are humiliated. That's why they used to read them, to get humiliated so that they could understand. Because they say when you don't hear, you must be made to feel. So I think that's why. So to become an average performer is easy. You do what you're expected to do. Marina, when you want to become an average performer, it is easy. You do what you expect. Come early, get leads, get contacts, call them, cross them, make 500. Those are 2 companies. 2 businesses of 225, 250, 250, 2 businesses a week. So in a week, to become an average performer, you must have only 2 businesses. Buying maybe a DJ an advert or a DJ mention, an advert and a DJ mention. It can be even 1 company. Buying an advert and you become an average is very easy. But being a top performer is not that easy. You got to be committed. You got to be able to come out with solutions from the universe. You must be charged 16 hours a day. When we are making calls, you're not making 10. When we are talking about reaching clients, you reach as many as possible. You insulate yourself from being rejected. Even when you get rejected, you don't take it personally. That's being above average. So, commitment means whether it rains or shines, I will still meet the client in the time we accepted. When you see the weather is getting bad, you walk early. Spend 1 hour close to your company, to your client, so that in case it rains, it doesn't stop you. Performing beyond average means coming in time for the trainings. It means coming in time for your appointments. It means being positive. It means being disciplined in your activities. Like if you set to do something at this time, you do it. You tolerate no distraction. Angel comes to talk to you like, excuse me, Angel, at this time we are supposed to talk with this. Now, the 4th level of action, which I love, is massive action. Being massive, doing massive actions. You talk to 1,000 in 100 days. Massive action. Now, let me tell you, there is nothing ever that will produce massive results other than having massive action. You look into your schedule, you find you have nothing like a single minute for you because you're massively active.